Hard money, as it's called, is unconventional financing commonly used for flipping houses, and it's a great way to get your deal quickly funded without having to qualify for traditional financing. What's so great about hard money for flipping houses is, unlike traditional bank financing, the criteria for funding is mostly the merits of the deal and not you personally as the borrower. The trade-off is it costs more, and before you ever borrow hard money to do a deal, it's imperative you know how much it's going to cost, as that cost directly affects your profit on the deal. So in today's video, we're gonna nerd out on the math, so get out your calculator, and I'm gonna break down and show you step by step how to calculate the cost of hard money over the course of a deal, so the next time you borrow hard money, you'll know exactly how much it's gonna cost you. All of that and more coming up. Hi, it's Jerry Norton, and if you're new here to make more money in less time flipping real estate so you can live your dream life, subscribe to my channel, click the bell icon to get notified when new videos are released. Now, cost of capital, or what I call carrying cost, is the total cost to borrow the funds to do a deal. Now, my goal and the goal of most flippers is to borrow 100% of the funds to flip a property. Now, since it's a short-term loan until I flip the property, I pay the entire loan off once the property sells. Now, I follow this same strategy of 100% funding even on my multi-million-dollar deals. Nothing beats making a six-figure profit on one deal in 6 to 9 months with none of your own money in the deal. Now, in the description, I'll put a link to a video where I show 2 six-figure flips I recently did with 100% funding. So unless you have hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting around, borrowing capital to flip houses is essential, but you have to understand the cost of that capital and factor it into your formula, as it's a real cost, and if you're not careful, that carrying cost can chew into your profits on deals really quickly. So before we dive into the math, you need to understand all of the fees associated with hard money. Fee number 1 is the interest you'll pay on the loan. Now, hard money loans are not amortized over time like typical long-term loans, which means you don't pay down any principal, so your payments are what we call interest only. That means 100% of the monthly payment is applied only to interest. And as a flipper, this is actually better because the payment each month is less than if the payment included principal, and since it's a short-term loan, we're not concerned with paying down principal. Now, be sure to keep watching because I'm going to break down how to calculate the interest-only payments. And in case you're wondering, interest rates fluctuate depending on the market, but as of this recording, typical hard money interest is 10 to 12%. Now, fee number 2 is points. A point is a lump sum amount charged by the lender just for doing the loan. 1 point is equal to 1% of the loan amount. So if the total hard money loan is $100,000 and the lender charges 2 points, you would pay $2,000 in points, which, keep in mind, is a separate fee and has nothing to do with the interest payments. The third fee on top of points and interest is there are often other miscellaneous fees, such as an origination fee, a processing fee, an application fee, legal fees, appraisal fee, etc. Now, I affectionately refer to all of these fees as junk fees, and typically they range from $500 to $2,000 depending on the lender and the deal. The fourth fee to be aware of is a loan extension fee. Now, since hard money is short term, in the event you don't exit the deal in time, most hard money lenders will extend the loan for you for a fee. For example, if the hard money loan was for a 6-month term and you exceeded 6 months, you would extend the loan for, let's say, 90 more days for an additional 2 points. Now, the fifth fee to consider is inspection fees. If you borrow not just capital for the purchase, but also for repairs, then every time you need a draw from the lender before releasing the funds, they typically send out a third-party inspector to verify that the work was completed prior to releasing the draw. These fees usually cost $150 or so. So if your total rehab budget was $25,000 and you did draws of $5,000 and your inspection fee was $150 each, you would pay $750 in inspection fees. Now, there's one more thing that I want to review with you before diving into the numbers, and that's the typical lending criteria. Now, there are 2 major considerations that hard money lenders look at. The first is what we call loan to value, or LTV. This means how much of the value of the property is the lender comfortable lending on. Lenders want equity in the deal in the event that you default and they have to foreclose and take the property back. Now, typically, as of this recording, hard money lenders will lend 70% of after repair value. That means if the ARV is $100,000, the most that lender will lend is 70% or $70,000. Now as flippers, this is fine since we should be buying at 70% anyways. But LTV isn't the only criteria. The second consideration is loan to capital, or how much of the total funds needed to buy the property and fix it up is the lender comfortable lending on. Now as of this recording, it's typically 80 to 90%. So that means if you're buying the property for $50,000 and you need $20,000 in repairs for a total of $70,000 in capital, and the lender's LTC, loan to capital, is 85%, then they will only lend you $59,500. They consider the other 15%, or in this case, $10,500, as skin in the game. Now, if you're like me, when I first got started and you're thinking, yeah, Jerry, I don't have $10,500 of skin to put in the game, then learn my hack strategy to get the other 15% funded. Watch this video to learn how. Okay, so now that we've explained all of the typical fees and the lending criteria, let's go through a scenario so that you can see how it plays out and how to add up all of the fees. Now I want you to know that the nerd in me is really excited to dive into the math. Listen, I barely graduated high school and I hated math as a kid, but this is money math and money math is a blast. So let's go through a case study together. Let's say that you have a deal that needs funded, assuming the following numbers. The ARV is $143,000, the purchase is $75,000, repairs are $25,000 for a total capital needed of $100,000, which is 70% of ARV. Now the turnaround time on this deal is 4 months and the draws needed are 8 draws. So let's assume the following terms from a hard money lender. The loan to capital is 80%, the term is a 6-month loan, interest is 12% interest only, there are 2 points, the miscellaneous fees are $1,500, and there's an extension fee of 2 points for an additional 6 months, and inspection fees are $175 each. Okay, now given all of that info and assuming that the deal takes 4 months to flip, what are the total carrying costs? So let's break it down. Step number 1 is to calculate the total loan amount by taking the total capital needed of $100,000 times the lender's loan to capital, which is 80%. So 100,000 times 0.8 equals 80,000. Step 2 is to calculate the points, which are 2 points from this lender. So the loan of 80,000 times 0.02 equals $1,600 in points. Step 3 is to calculate the interest, and we've got a few steps here. So first let's get to a monthly rate, and then we can multiply that by the number of months in the deal. So if we take 80,000 times 0.12, that equals $9,600. But that's the total annual interest. So then let's divide 9,600 by 12 to get our total monthly payment of $800. And then the total time in the deal, remember, was 4 months. So 800 times 4 equals a total of $3,200 in interest payments. So step 4 is to calculate the inspection fees by adding up all of the inspection fees of 8 at $175 each, which comes to $1,400. Next is step 5, which is to calculate the extension fees. Since the loan was for 6 months, and in this example we did the deal in 4 months, there are no extension fees. Okay, finally step 6 is let's add up all of these fees. So if we add everything up, we have points of $1,600, we have miscellaneous fees of $1,500, we have interest of $3,200, we have inspection fees of $1,400, we don't have any extension fees, so our grand total carrying cost is $7,700. Now you may be thinking, Jerry, that's expensive money, and yes it is, but let's put it in perspective. How much did we make on the deal? Now assuming we sold the deal for $143,000, which was our ARV, less our purchase of $75,000, less rehab of $25,000, less carrying costs of $7,700, less, let's say, closing fees of $11,500, that covers commissions and everything else, we get a net profit of $23,800. So let me ask you, would you be willing to pay $7,700 in cost of capital to flip a house in 4 months and make a net profit of $23,800? Leave a comment and let me know if you would do that. Now, the best way to get funding for your deals is with Flipster. So Flipster is the #1 house flipping deal management platform on the planet. It includes everything you need to organize, streamline, and automate all of the steps of flipping houses. And included with Flipster is funding sources and funding solutions to getting not just hard money, but also private money, so you can literally do deals with 100% funding. Now, to learn more and see it in action, just go to getflipster.com or click the link in the description. Now I hope you learned something on today's video. If you did, hit that like button and leave a comment. Let me know your biggest takeaway. I'd love to hear from you. And seriously, if you're into flipping real estate, subscribe to my channel. As of this recording, I've done over 350 videos, all on how to make money flipping real estate. I've organized all of them by topics and playlists, and you can learn so much right here on this channel to help you make more money in less time so you can live your dream life. Do that now, and I'll see you on the next video.